woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah! I know this'll be the day. Oh, yeah. Everything will be okay. Oh, yeah. I kiss my cares all away. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. Cry myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah! Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Oh, yeah. Ain't nobody gonna die today. Oh, yeah. I kiss my cares all away. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Be a good day. It's beautiful. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah! I know this'll be the day. Oh, yeah. Everything will be okay. Oh, yeah. I kiss my cares all away. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet, cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah! Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Oh, yeah. Ain't nobody gonna die today. Oh, yeah. I kiss my cares all away. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. Gonna be a good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's beautiful. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days.
Good morning. You ever wake up and wonder to yourself, geez, I wonder what they're going to cover on TNT today? And you just like kind of think about it for a minute. Well, sometimes I have the same thought. So today we did figure out some topics for us and we have them all lined up. I'm excited to share them with you. Inflation and world events. So I'm going to talk about that and I'm going to show you some historic numbers to put things into perspective so you can kind of compare what's happened in the past, what's going on now. See, is it bad? Is it like horrible? Is it like not even a thing? It's crazy. When you look through all these numbers, what you might glean from it. So we're going to talk about inflation and world events, just like major world events that have happened, and you'll see it. And it'll like remind you of some things that maybe it's interesting, right? And then the second topic is loan analysis. So people are worried about interest rates, right? The Fed raised the key interest rate, and that's going to have effects on what the 30-year fixed mortgage is. So there's some things to discuss there. And we're going to discuss, should you buy now or should you wait? And then we're going to give some comparisons, and I'm going to run some numbers and some scenarios. And then we're going to discuss and let you decide, because your clients are going to be asking all these questions. And you're going to be like using your calculator and figuring things out. You're like, wow, that seems like a lot. But is it? I don't know. We're going to discuss that and figure it out. So you'll get to go through that here with us in just a little bit. So those are the two topics for today. That's good. Thanks for joining us. Let's go. Inflation and historic world events all kind of lined up in one neat chart. We're going to discuss where we're currently at with inflation. We're going to look back in the past and see where we're at. We're going to overlay some world events on this, and it'll trigger some things in your mind. You'll see how the economy did, how it recovered, how long it lasted, and learning from these historic events, maybe you have some more information to look forward, because we can't predict the future, but we can learn from the past. So I have a link for you, and we're going to chat that in, and then we're going to go ahead and split the screen and show this off. So I'm going to take control of the mouse here for us, Omkar, and we're going to go over here and take a look. So this goes back all the way to 1929. So I'm going to take a moment and get you a little bit comfortable with what you're looking at. Maybe we make the screen just a little bit larger if we can, Omkar, so it shows up a touch bigger for everybody. I'll let you go ahead and do that. Nice job. And now what we have is 1929 is when this chart goes all the way back to, okay? And it shows the inflation rate, YOY, which is year over year. And then we have the business growth cycle, the GDP growth, like if it grew or contracted, and then the world event that went on. So this goes back to 1929. And during that year, we had a historic stock market crash. So we had a market crash. And then down through here, as we go down the list, it shows different inflation rates. So we actually had deflation, okay, during these years. So it deflated by 6%, by 9%, by 10%. That's a lot of action here. And a contraction in the economy, okay? And if you can look at this, could you imagine living through something like this where there's the stock market crash and then the Dust Bowl, like back to back? If you think what you're currently going through is crazy, add on like a Dust Bowl beyond that and then see how that feels, right? Like do that in like back to back years and see what's going on. That is really crazy. As you continue to go look through these numbers, after that kind of gets all situated, now we go back to some normal expansion with inflation. And we're at, 3% and under, and the economy starts growing. And then we have the depression resuming over here, and then the depression ending, the Dust Bowl finally ending. Is that a crazy amount of time there? Did anyone realize the Dust Bowl lasted that long? Right? That's some crazy stuff. That's a lot of hard times. And then you're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, Pearl Harbor starts then, and let's start a war, a world war, right? And these things just continue to add up. There's a lot of things that happen in the world. And then we did have a couple of years of inflation, almost 10% and 9% right after this World War event where we had to start doing some stuff there. Then we went back to kind of some normal numbers, but then we have some crazy 18% and 8%. And then it goes right back down to 3%. So we normally don't stay at a super high number for too long. It normally does become under control. And we had some Cold War spending here. World War II ends. And we had an expansion here of what was going on. Okay? Then we go back and we have 5, 6%, 0%. And these numbers through here aren't all that crazy. We just have some normal type stuff going on. Nothing that seems all that absurd till we start looking at it. We have other events going on, the moon landing, right? So the moon landing took place here. We have recession, price controls. I don't even know what that is. Stagflation. Not sure exactly what that is. Gold standard. You know, the gold standard ended in 73. I didn't know it was that short of a time frame ago. But we did have inflation right after that of what happened. 8%, 12%, 7%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's a lot of inflation right through here. So as soon as we got off that gold standard, we did have massive inflation for a real prolonged time frame. That happened all the way down through here till we kind of got it under control. Ronald Reagan comes in and he does some stuff. We have military spending, things get kind of back to normal. And then we have all different types of problems that start happening up again. We have NAFTA. I think that was a Bill Clinton thing. So that takes place. You know, if we made more things in Mexico, then we would have less problems with China right now. So I'm all for expansion of Mexico and less going out to China. It just seems easier to get the stuff like close to home. So come on, let's go Mexico. Let's get some more stuff going on there. Let's give less to China and more to our neighbor. So we have all this stuff going on down here. Then we have the tech bubble, and we all know that happened in about 2000. We have Bush tax cuts and 9/11, the war on terror. And through all that, inflation is not too severe, okay? Then as we go down here, some things that, you know, we had all these super low inflationary numbers and things seemed like the Fed really had it under control. And I kind of felt like in the past that they could always handle what was going on with their monetary policies and they had done a decent job of getting past everything. Then I get down here and this really shocked me, right? And this is a very shocking thing to me. There's no notes for these years. Who in their mind thought that the day when Donald Trump went into office that for his presidency, you wouldn't see anything here? People thought he was like the most volatile man ever, right? And we would have surely like just the world would come to an end. There'd be like the craziest things ever. And there's not even a single note here. I'm not making a political statement or anything, but I'm just totally shocked by that in hindsight. I thought there'd be some major things over here. Then we get here and we have COVID and we have some projections in the future. So if we look at 2021, we did have 7%. That was the year over year for that year. It's actually increased since then, and it's like at 8.5% year over year is what we're currently running at. So we're running a little hotter than that. Okay. But a number that did surprise me is during the first year of the pandemic, we only had a 3.4 contraction. And that actually doesn't make sense to me. Like everything shut down. And I don't know how we only contracted by 3.4%. I would have said it was way more than that. Like everything came to an end, to a stop, to a halt, right? And how did it only go down that much? So I kind of question some of these numbers. Looking back, I don't think that that's an accurate number of the total economy because they shut down car manufacturing for periods of times. They idolized plants. They did all types of things. And I would say that that number is dramatically wrong. But an expansion of only 5.9% after this contraction also doesn't make sense to me because you're saying that we only grew that much over the year before that when it was super low. You know, so it seems like once it kicked back in, that it expanded a lot, right? So when you like all of a sudden hit the brakes on the economy and it went to like 0, right? Then that number like just drops like a rock. Like everyone sees these charts and you can identify, you're like, oh, that was a pandemic that just happened there. And then the expansion of what goes on after that. So I also question the expansion of the year before that in 2021 right below here on what's going on. So anyways, there's our topic, world events, and a link to it, and inflation and what happened and where we go from here. That's up for you to decide. But I figured if I covered some big major things, gave you a link to some helpful articles and some facts, then you could make some decisions and you could discuss it with your clients. But it seems like it's, I don't know, maybe going to take a little bit of time to get over, but we'll eventually be all right. There you go. Loan analysis. People are asking you, should I buy now? Interest rates are scary, they're going up. Should I wait? What's going on here? Okay, so the classic case of interest rates are high, I shouldn't buy now, I need to wait. That's a concept that people make based on interest rates. But there's other variables. If that was the only variable, then that would make sense to wait based on that. But let's go ahead and do some calculations. So we're going to split the screen and we're going to show off a mortgage calculator and we're going to make some decisions based on that because your clients are going to be asking you these things, right? And I'm going to go ahead and take control and see if we can go over here and see what we got. So the first thing that I'm going to do is look at maybe what a standard home in our area used to be. So I'll put in $350,000 for the average home. And interest rates were lower. So I'm going to put in 3% here, and I'll show you what your payment would be. So we have roughly a $1,500 payment on a property that is $350,000. Okay, so that's maybe where we were before. Now, as we fast forward here, we have a different set of circumstances. So what's happening is interest rates are going up. So let's put in a higher number here and see what happens. So now on its own, we had an increase in the payment because we simply changed the interest rate, okay? Now, all we did is we kept the loan amount the same, changed the interest rate, now our payment's higher. And that's what most people look at is they're like, well, it's gonna be much more expensive. But there's other variables. And the other variable is the fact that what we also have going on is that the value of the home became more expensive. So let's take that same house and put some numbers in here and say that it goes to $500,000. Now the payment goes up even more, okay, because it became more expensive. And then this is what people talk about with home affordability, that it's a difficult thing and who can afford this now that the payment went from, for that same house, it went way up to here, okay? So I do understand that. And then people are worried that in the future, we're gonna have a higher number nonetheless. So now we're gonna have like a 7% number and this is gonna go up. But if you simply wait for the interest rate to go back down or hope and wait, then what you miss is something like this. So what we're gonna have now is the value of the home is continuing to go up and appreciate. So what you're going to have is if you do wait, the home is now going to cost you probably $700,000 later. And then you can wait for the interest rate not to be a number like that. And you can wait for it to go back down to something like 3%. And you can wait on this higher number now. And your monthly payment will be less because interest rates are less. But what you'll have is a higher loan amount and your balance will be more. And what you simply missed out on is all of the appreciation with the property going up in value. So what are you going to do? You're going to be sitting on the sideline and miss all of this price appreciation because you want a lower monthly payment? What you need to be is you need to be in the market as it's going up, right? So you need to be buying more and more and more. And by doing that, you're actively participating in the price appreciation and the balance going up. And then that money goes into your pocket. It's really hard to save and accumulate wealth, but real estate is one of the best wealth builders there happens to be. So it almost is irrelevant of what the interest rate is. It goes back to more of what did you actually pay for the property and what did you sell it for, right? So everyone right now is like, I really don't care what the interest rate was before because now my home's worth more. So just think about that one. When somebody asks about interest rates, talk more about pricing and price appreciation and how all of that is actually just putting money in their pocket. So just buy more real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, that's good for today. Well, that's a wrap. Some of those topics a bit nerdy and a bit broad, but I think that sometimes you have to look at it from that perspective to be able to whittle it down, to talk to clients and have those discussions directly. I do have some similar topics lined up for us tomorrow that I'm excited to share with you. We'll talk about wealth creation and normalization of the 40-year mortgage. Yeah, who wants a 40 doing 20? And what does that even mean? So just think about that one, and we'll have that discussion tomorrow. It is a suggestion that we brought up at NAR, and we got it on the docket for them to discuss and see if the 40-year mortgage helps us out with the problem that we just talked about today. So who knows? See you tomorrow. All right, what do we got here? Inflation. Okay. Okay.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Check my nails, looking good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh yeah. I know this'll be the day. Everything will be okay. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good day. I think it's finally all gonna go my way. Rain or shine, no, I don't mind. This day is mine. I'm gonna chase all those gray clouds away. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. No more crying myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet 'cause I hear music playing on these streets.